Alright, starting with 4.3c, we have this word problem here where we are trying to figure out the width of a river, and they already give you the whole diagram, so you don't have to draw anything, and they label everything for you already. Okay, so this is theta here, and I have a right triangle. Alright, it's safe to assume that because then there's no other way to figure out the missing length. And relative to the angle they give me here, this is the adjacent side, and this is the opposite side. So which trig function consists of opposite and adjacent between sine, cosine, and tangent? That would be tangent. So I know tangent of, what's my angle measurement? 54 degrees, is equal to opposite, which is W, over adjacent, which is 100. All right, I'm going to isolate W by multiplying by 100 on both sides. So W is equal to 100 times tangent of 54 degrees. All right, and plugging it in your calculator, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. All right, so W is equal to 137.6. Done. On to the next example. All right, the height of a mountain. All right, what do we have here? Traveling across flat land, no amount directly in front of you. It's angle of elevation angle of elevation from the car. It's 3.5 degrees here. All right, after you drive 13 miles, and then you're closer to the mountain. The angle of elevation is 9 degrees then. All right, so then it goes up to 9 degrees. All right, approximate the height of the mountain. Oh, we need to figure out this height. All right, so the height is the vertical distance. All right, so vertical and horizontal, that's perpendicular there. We have a right angle. Okay, so I have two right triangles here. I have this small one, and I have this bigger one here. Okay, since you have two right triangles, you could set up two equations. Let's see what other information we have to work with here. This is the height here that I'm trying to figure out. I do not know what this length is here. I'll call this x. But I know this whole length then is not 13x, but x plus 13. All right, so that's the length of the leg of the big triangle. All right, so what do I have now? I'm going to start working with this small triangle here. I have tangent of 9 degrees is equal to opposite, which is h, over adjacent, which is x. I could set up another equation using a trig function for the big triangle, which would be tangent of 3.5 degrees is equal to opposite, which is h, over x plus 13. Okay, let's see what I could do here. All right, first thing I'm going to do is multiply by x on both sides. So now I have h is equal to x tangent of 9 degrees. Then we'll multiply by x plus 13 on both sides. So I get h is equal to x plus 13 times tangent of 3.5. Alrighty. Okay, now I have h for both equations isolated, so I could set the expressions that they're equal to each other. All right, now my goal is to isolate x. So here I'll distribute. All right, it's not that difficult, just apply simple algebra. All right, we have x times tangent 3.5 plus 13 tangent of 3.5. All right, never separate the number from the tangent, okay? Together, these represent one number. You can never separate them. So I'll make sure that's clear. Okay, now I'll subtract tangent of 3.5 over. Now, this isn't the only way to approach this problem. This is just the method that I chose. Okay, now notice that these both have an x in the terms. All right, so I could factor out an x from the two terms, leaving me with this. Okay, now I can isolate x. Divide by tangent 9 degrees minus tangent of 3.5 degrees on both sides. All right, so I've isolated x now. All right, and just plug it into your calculator, and what do you get? All right, you get 8.178349886. And now the reason why I took as many decimal places as I could is because I'm not done yet. I have to still figure out h. And if you cut off the decimal too short, then that's also going to skew your end result for the final answer. So I want to be as precise as I can with whatever numbers I'm working with. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to plug it back in to what we have up here. All right, so I have h is equal to x, which is 8.178349886, and then times tangent of 9 degrees. And I get my height, which is 1.295, rounding off at the third decimal place. And we're working with miles. All right, so it's not too difficult. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. You just have to recognize that you have two right triangles that you're working with, and then essentially you have a system of equations, and then I just substituted, and then I was able to solve for the variables. That's all there is to it. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask. Begin the assignment at the bottom of the web page.